TK
Exactly.
husband.
Yes, and the Duchess just never thought she was good enough for her son. So obviously, while she's fighting her battles in her marriage, she's also constantly seeking the validation and acceptance from the Duchess, which, whether or not she even got at the end, is still up for debate. So,
And then I mean, we shouldn't talk about everybody, otherwise.
yeah.
And there's Emeka, the ex,
Yes.
and okay, but it's a love story
Yes, it is.
at the very core. It's a love story.
Yes, it is.
It's a story of a young woman who is confused about who she is, who discovers herself through the men and the people in her life.
Yes.
Is that correct? That sums
Yes,
it up
yes,
pretty well.
yes.
But you said this is volume 1.
Yes.
So there's a volume 2 coming, right?
Yes. So volume 2 is a continuation of the story of the Ayo-Kessingtons, but it's now through the eyes of another female member of the family. So it's a trilogy that chronicles the most important women in the Ayo-Kessington Dynasty. So we've read Anjola's story, and then it's now to move on to somebody else's story.
In crafting this story, give us a peep into your mind. I mean, you said earlier on that you like to observe what's going on around, but what really got you, what got your juice flowing with regards to crafting the story?
Okay.
How? When did it all start for you?
For me, I've always wanted to write a story like this, which is why this was the plot for my first novel. When I was really young, my dad was very into the opera, and he always favored these Mozart operas that had very strong love themes, and the guy and the girl in the story will have to go through so much trials and tribulations before they get together. And I used to get so emotional. I remember at the end of some of those operas, I actually cry at the end of the performance. And so I thought to myself that one day, if I ever do become a writer, I would really like to write a story of love that conquers this kind of trials and temptations, like undying, unending young love. And so that was why I wanted a strong love story that placed the most unlikely candidate in a very dynamic and powerful family. And I wanted a rag to riches story that had a love theme at the end. And so that was how I came up with this story.
This is a very powerful love story.
Yeah.
We are all, permit me to use the word, we are all suckers for love stories, right?
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't matter the genre of literature you like. And writers are also very smart. Even when writing horror, there's a love story somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Whether it's comedy, whether it's adventure, whether it's thriller, action, there's always a love story somewhere hidden in there. So, I mean, for you, does this define how you're going to be writing? Are we going to know Layemi as a foremost writer of romance novels in Nigeria?
I hope so.
Is that what you're planning to be?
Yes, because I think for me, I'm a hopeless romantic by heart. So for me, love stories come to me very naturally. And I think that really all the world does need is a little more love. And so if I'm able to tell love story, even if it's romantic love or the love between a mother and a child, I just want to portray love in everything that I write about. And so, yes, I do consider myself a romance novelist. I might experiment with other things, but I think at the heart of it all,
that's what
it
we
will
want
be
to
romance.
stick to. Yes. How much did you feel this story? I can tell you as a reader will feel the story. That much I know. But tell me how much did you feel the story? Did you cry at any point? Did you feel merciless at any point, or did you feel, hey, no, let me not do this with this character? How does it work for you as a writer?
Okay, to be very honest,
do you get into your stories?
Yes, and in fact, it's almost an unhealthy bond with the characters to the point where when I'm trying to end the story, it's actually very hard because I feel like I'm killing them off.
Seriously?
Yes. And so for me, a lot of people ask me if it's a true life story. I think because a lot of the things in there are relatable.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. So I bonded with Anjola over certain choices that she made. Like I could picture myself in certain scenarios. And even the times when she was doing things that were outrightly stupid, I knew that for a young woman in love, a lot of times you would do stupid things. So I really did bond with her. I felt sorry for her at some point. I was angry with her at some point, but I wanted the story to be a real story. And so for me, it was a very emotionally draining experience writing the book, and I had to, practice a lot of patience. But for me, at the core of writing this story and developing the characters, I wanted to be very clear on teaching certain life lessons. So a lot of the choices that she made, even though at the end it seems like everything just fell in place, but she suffered the consequences for every mistake that she made, so to speak. So I was also very clear that even though I bonded with her and I felt sorry for her, she couldn't get away with all the mistakes that she made. So she had to pay a price somehow, which really is how life works.
Your story is gradually becoming, like a brand out there. I mean,
Yeah.
I know people who absolutely love, the way you write and what you're writing.
Thank you.
What has been the most satisfying experience for you? This is your first novel
Yes.
published. What has been the most satisfying experience you've had as a novelist? And this is your short time being a novelist. What has it been? Did you bump into somebody at a mall who said, who gave you a hug or something? Is there anyone that stands out for you?
For me, I get a lot of messages on social media and via my email. For me, the most satisfying experience was a very long email I got from a young lady who was in her final year in school. And she told me about how the story had taught her about forgiveness and how she knew now that she had to discover herself early in life and also to be firm with the decisions she was making and calculating the consequences of decisions before taking them. And for me, it was just a very gratifying thing because, when you write fiction, a lot of time it's seen as just pure entertainment. But the fact that somebody was able to draw valuable life lessons from it, and it was a very emotional email. And for me, I think that was just the highlight. It just made the entire journey worth it for me.
I mean, got you ready to write the next one and the next one.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Layemi, for joining us on Channels
Thank you.
Book Club.
Thank you for having me.
And well done.
Thank you very much.
Keep churning them out. Looking forward to the next one.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.